Good evening. Welcome to the Malden Board of Appeal. Today is Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. The Malden Board of Appeal will hold a public hearing Wednesday, September 18th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at Malden City Hall, 215 Pleasant Street, Room 106, the Herbert L. Jackson Council Chambers, Malden, Mass. On the following named petitions. This meeting may be recorded by Urban Media Arts, formerly known as Malden Access Television. The order of the petitions are to be determined by the chairperson. And before we get started, we'll just do a roll call. We'll just do a roll call of all. One of these petitions, two board members have to recuse themselves because they were on the abutters list, but we'll take care of that after this. So right now, we'll just do the roll call.
Desposito? Bilgan? Here. King?
Your microphone's on?
Here.
Mics. Hit your mics, guys. I got them.
Kramer?
Here.
Froyo?
Here.
Sherwin?
Here.
Codefarian?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first order of business will be to approve the minutes of the last meeting, which was August 21st, 2024. Did everybody have a chance to review those minutes? Yeah. And would anybody like to make a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion to approve the minutes from the August 21st meeting made by Froyo, second by King. Desposito?
Yes or no?
Yes.
Actually, no,
No,
so
I can't
she's an
do-
alternate.
Bilgan?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Froyo?
Yes.
Sherwin?
Wasn't here, abstain.
Okay. Kramer?
Yes. Armin, did you vote on those?
Yes.
Armin was a voting member last week.
Codefarian?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, so the first petition is petition 24-009 by Sheperd, Doeleman, and Elissa Weitzman? Weitzman? Seeking a variance under code of the City of Malden as amended, Title 12.16.060, Table of Intensity Regulations, specifically violation of front yard and rear yard setbacks as per plans RES 062872-2023 at the property known as and numbered 46 Sprague St, Malden, Mass, and also known by City Assessor's Parcel ID 074261113. Start by saying this is probably one of the most elaborate presentations I've ever seen, no matter what the project was. Just based on what we have here and what you've submitted, and now you have a presentation. Has everybody had a chance to look through these plans and the responses to the four criteria? So I think you can just make it brief, if you can. Okay. Is your mic on? No, it's not. Hang on. All right, try it now.
Benny Bear, architect, 2001 Beacon Street, Suite 211, Boston. With me here is Varda, who works with me on the design, and the owners, Shep and Elissa. And I'll try to be as brief as possible. What we're trying to do here, on the left you see the existing site plan, in the middle you see the proposed site plan, and on the right you see a blow-up of an area of the proposed site plan. There is an existing accessory structure to the rear. It's detached. In a minute we'll see just by how much. We're proposing to remove that. It needs to be removed, and to construct an addition on the rear, and on the footprint of a previous addition that's to the left side of the house. The structure, the main structure, is an existing lawful non-conforming on the side yards and the rear yard, and we're proposing to it's still going to be non-conforming. There is an easement on the left side that's a shared parking access area with the next door neighbors. Here is the same information prepared by the site engineer, the land surveyor.
Sorry, can you go back to that slide for a moment, the previous one?
Just so
Is that in our packet?
Sorry, I just want to interrupt too, just so you don't think we're not looking. There's another monitor right here that we can all see what's up there, so.
Yeah.
I'll assume that you know what I'm talking about.
Sorry, did you say that
Any
there's,
question?
Yeah, I don't think that's in our packet, so if you could hang on.
I saw this, it was in the
Oh, is
attachment,
it?
yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't recall.
Did you say that there's
I
a
have an
shared
extra one right there,
parking?
too.
Yeah,
I'm
if you
sorry?
wouldn't mind. Thank
Is
you.
there shared parking, did you
So
say?
it's a corner lot.
Well,
I
it's
didn't see
a,
the side by side, though. That was-
it's an interesting condition. I may ask the owners to describe the arrangement that they have with the neighbors, but we also have some photographs that we can show how it's being used currently.
I feel one of the challenges that they have with this project is the fact that they're on a corner lot, and Nelson might be able to speak to this, but because of the fact that they have frontage on two different streets, they have essentially a front setback on two sides of the house. Is that correct? So that's one of the challenges. They don't actually have a side setback they have a front setback on two sides of the house. So it's 25 feet, right? No, I'm sorry. 10 feet on two sides as opposed to what's
I
required.
thought front was 15.
If you see in these plans, there is a little trapezoidal shape that's drawn. It represents our understanding of the required setbacks. And the front yard on Sprague Street is conforming. There's no issue with that. Every other yard has an issue to some extent. That's our understanding of the situation here. On the right side of the house, which is on Spring Street and requires a front yard setback, we're not proposing to make that nonconformity any worse. I understand that the yard is measured to the first riser of the steps going up to the porch, and it's going to be the same dimension as the exterior wall of the main house today. And that's really the purpose of the blow-up areas both on the previous slide and this one, to demonstrate that we're not making it worse. This is the existing house with the pink areas representing parts of the house that are proposed to be demolished. So we're proposing to demolish the accessory structure in the rear, and parts of the previous addition that doesn't have good foundations in it. There's also you see a little doghouse in the rear that's access to the basement currently. You'll see some photographs that will show the problematic nature of that access and why we're proposing to make it better, at least in our opinion. So this is superimposed, the proposed on the existing, and this is when the existing disappears. So yes, we are still non-conforming on yards, but we feel that the bulk of non-conformity is less after the project than before the project. These are the conditions. The existing, you can see, the photograph on the right shows you that accessory structure. It's old, it's in tough shape, something needs to be done about it, but it is being used as storage. The photograph on the left shows just how close that accessory structure comes to the main house. There's probably 3 or 4 inches on the wall itself, and then where the roof projects out, it may be an edge. So, but for this condition, that garage would be an attached garage. This is the rear of the house. You can see the, further up on the left, the accessory garage. And you can see the access to the basement, both from the outside and from the inside. You can see that when the door opens to go to the basement, you have a surprise, because now you really have to duck in there. It's not, you're not going to even bang your head. It's about chest height. And then when you go under again, there's another condition that you need to negotiate, because it's a floor of the main house there. So we will come back to it as we propose. So here it is. We think that the arguments for the variance is that we have the circumstances that affect this particular land and structure, and that is the dimensions and the siting of the structure on the lot as it stands. So I think this meets the requirement for the circumstances, in addition to the existing easement. We think that in terms of hardship, the decrepitude of the existing accessory structure presents a hardship for the owners here, which we're trying to correct. We, by removing it, we have to replace the functionality that it serves in terms of storage. So if we can't replace it, that would be hardship. And we think that the access to the basement is hazardous, and we think that too contributes to hardship. We don't think what we're proposing here, and we hope that you agree with us, we don't think that it presents a detriment to the public good. We actually think that it benefits the public good, both in terms of the streetscape and the aesthetics. And we think that the proposal is compatible with the intent of the zoning code, and we think that we hope that you agree with us and you grant us the variance that we need. We don't think we have a special permit. Special permit is a lower threshold to clear in terms of. So here are some of the presentations of the proposed end conditions. You can see behind the car the guardrails of the stairs that going up. You can see that it's not projecting beyond the exterior wall of the house. This is the other side of the house. Here you can see how parking arrangements are handled today. I believe the car on the right, the darker car, is belongs to the owners of 46, and the white car belongs to the neighbors, and they just use the driveway cooperatively. This is a view from the front. It's similar to that photograph, a little higher viewpoint. And again, we're in the back. You can see the parking situation, the trash and recycling being handled on that side of the house, and the really tough shape of the structure that we're proposing to remove. This is a view from, again, the left side from the rear. What you can see here, that part of the addition is a covered patio on the left. The owners use electric bicycles, and they'd like to be able to park them there, protected from the elements, and be able to be charged. These are heavier than usual bikes.
And just so everyone knows, that is already, that's not,
That's existing.
that little carport for the bicycles, it's not a carport. It's a covered patio where there's bicycles. But that is the same footprint as what's there right now.
No, it goes further to the property line. If you look at,
It's a
AS
little
101.
different. it's a little different, and I can go back to an earlier slide that shows the difference, but I'll just, here you can see it again from the rear. Right next to it, you can see the steps leading to the basement, and you can see how we propose to solve the problem with the headroom going to the basement and make that access safer and building code compliant. And
What's
that-
above that? What's above the covered patio?
I'm sorry?
What's above the covered patio?
Nothing.
I see
It's
it's-
all, it's simply aesthetic. There's
Okay.
no floor there, there's no
Okay.
usable space. It's, you can,
Okay.
just to answer the question from a minute ago, you can see that the covered patio projects beyond where the current massing of the house is. And it's partly to also provide cover to those steps that go into the basement so we don't get snow and rain getting in there. Or less snow and rain. The wind will bring some of it in.
One more question. So if I recall, that bump out, the one that's further out, what's in there is a half bath, and I don't think there are any other bathrooms on the first floor, is that?
That is correct.
Okay. So so that bump out is allowing you to add a half bath that
That
currently
is correct.
didn't exist. You'd have to go upstairs before.
One of the goals of this project is actually to provide the owners with a real legitimate kitchen on this floor, because the kitchen that they have now is very inadequate. Can we agree on that?
Okay.
Yes, so in terms of the functionality of the first floor, the way, what's expected in the 21st century, it needs an upgrade, and that upgrade includes that bathroom in the back, yes.
Okay.
I'd be happy to answer questions if there are.
Yeah, I have questions regarding the parking. I think the site survey said that there are no current parking spaces and none will be provided. Nelson, can you confirm that that's true, that currently their property doesn't contain any viable parking spaces?
Well, I believe that land surveyor is not here to answer this question, but I believe that what he meant by that is that whatever is there does not meet dimensional requirements. In other words, we've had situations like that on other projects. People park, people do whatever they need to do with their cars, but the dimensional requirements of a parking space and the backing up space may not be here. So that's my interpretation of the land surveyor's note.
Okay, thank you. But you said that there is some arrangement, so it is able to store cars as
Yes.
currently designed?
Yes.
And that's not available right now, but with the new design, there is parking.
I'm sorry?
And right now, there is no parking, but with the proposed, there is parking? For a car?
Again, I don't believe we can represent that it meets all dimensional requirements for a parking space.
Gotcha. Okay.
We are showing a car parked there, but it's, I think, is that fair to say?
Would you like to add anything to that, Nelson? Or, but just... yeah, so why don't... So Nelson's just gonna give us a little background on that for clarification. If you want to step aside for a second.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, the existing parking for any property is grandfathered as to what it has at the time. The only time we enforce any type of parking regulation is if you're going to increase the number of bedrooms for a building. So
Which they're not doing.
which they're not doing. So if they were to increase bedrooms, we'd be looking for, ordinance compliant parking spaces, but they're not, so whatever they have, they have.
Great, thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions from the board on this?
Can you just walk me through again, just what is gonna be the makeup of the new structure that's replacing the old garage on the first floor and second floor?
Like the program?
You can see, well, you probably have the screen here, but the image on the right blows up that area. So where the car is parked, there are going to be those steps that we mentioned earlier and a side entrance into the house. Also serves as a second means of egress that's required by building code. In there, there's a mudroom with some storage, some shoes, coats, and a full bathroom on this floor. So there's a shower, a lavatory, and a toilet. And then it connects to the kitchen through a passageway that exists today. We're proposing a set of sliding doors there that open to a covered porch on the rear. That covered porch may be screened when it needs to be screened, and then it leads down to the rear yard. And then on the left side of the house, which we did not blow up here, we're just rebuilding that layout. We're cleaning up some of the things. We're removing a chimney that exists here.
I'm sorry, you're moving what?
A chimney. The chimney has already been removed from the top down to the attic. Now we're removing more of it so we can recapture some of that interior space and give it back to a kitchen and design a 21st century kitchen in there with a pantry in the back that has laundry appliances there.
I have a question for Nelson, sorry, I didn't think about this earlier. Is it 30% that they can cover the lot? Yes. And they're asking for 31, okay, thank you.
Just so you, like, if you're going to speak, you have to come up to the microphone, say your name and address,
this
just
thing
because
goes down.
this is recorded and also on TV, sorry.
Hi, I'm Elissa Weitzman, one of the owners. I just wanted to comment that as far as I understand, we're proposing a reduction in the coverage of the lot from 31 to 27%.
It's shown on the image on the right.
Okay, so it doesn't matter whether it's accessory building or not?
It does matter. There is a technicality there that the existing garage is not attached to the house.
Yeah.
Despite being within inches of it, so it is an accessory building and not part of the house.
So are we, I'm sorry, here to provide a variance for lot coverage or no?
Thank you, Nelson.
Lot area,
So there are two separate numbers for lot coverage, principal structure, accessory structure. What they're taking down, although it's this close to the house, is an accessory structure.
right.
So the addition they're adding to the principal structure, that new footprint would need to comply with the principal lot coverage number. The accessory structure number is out the window, it's gone.
So the principal lot coverage that they're asking for requires a variance?
Right, so you can't compare the two,
Correct.
because currently it's two separate numbers and it's going to be one number.
Great, okay.
Thank you, Nelson.
I guess for the architect, I'm just wondering if you think you can achieve all this program within 30% lot coverage for the principal structure?
We
Or if you
have
looked at that.
only principal coverage when this project is done. And the proposed coverage is 27%.
Oh, okay, I understood now, okay. So you're below, we're not doing a variance for proposed lot coverage. sorry, it says lot area on our petition description.
Front yard and rear yard setbacks. And also, I just wanted to add, so this is a 3-story home, and it looks like on the 3rd floor, you have 3 bedrooms and a half bath. And then on the 2nd floor, you have 4 bedrooms and a full bath. So you have 7 bedrooms and 1.5 baths. Yeah, you can.
Hi, I'm Sheperd, Doeleman. I'm also the owner. On the 3rd floor, we have a full bath.
Oh, okay. Is that what it's showing?
So there are two full
Oh, I
baths.
do see it now, okay.
And
So-
7 bedrooms, yeah.
So 3rd floor, 3 bedrooms, full bath. 2nd floor, 4 bedrooms, full bath.
Yes.
Why do you need a full bath on the 1st floor?
Well, primarily, we have some elderly parents, and we've had them over. They can no longer get to even the 2nd floor. So we've made arrangements for them to sleep occasionally on the 1st floor when they come and visit.
Okay.
And we decided that was important for us.
Okay.
To have our parents come.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from the board?
So I'm correct that your proposal is not going to increase the side setback violation, is that right?
It's not increasing.
And I think it's going to decrease the rear setback, violate the existing one?
It's a little gray because the garage is an accessory dwelling right now, so that, yes, if you look at it, the garage is so close, it's almost attached.
Yeah.
I'm just obeying my own rules here. So yes,
So yeah,
the garage is not attached, but
Yeah.
it's within inches of the house.
But I'm saying what he's proposing is actually going to be further away
Creates
from.
more, the whole building will be off of the
Yeah,
property
that's
line.
what I'm getting at.
If you look at the image on the right, in that area, the new addition has the letters ADD.
I mean, it has what?
Add.
Add.
That's the addition. And behind it, you see with the hatch, the footprint of what's being removed. Now, technically, that's right. It's a detached accessory structure that, once removed, doesn't have, it's not grandfathered, so to speak, but the area, the coverage in that area is less after the project than before the project.
I guess I'm curious what the public has to say, because I think there's maybe some redundancy in what they're asking for. And maybe it could be compacted a little bit so that it's not encroaching that side yard as much as it's shown right now. So I'm curious if any neighbors are here to weigh in.
Is there anybody here from the public that would like to speak in favor of this or in opposition? Hello, you just have to state your name and address.
My name is Philip Giroux at 40 Sprague Street, so we're one house further down. I'd like to speak in support of this. I think as much as I love that garage that's been there for many, many years, I've been in the neighborhood for 35 years, and it's been an eyesore all this time, so I'm delighted that it's going to come down. And I think also the improvements that are proposed seem to fit in with, the surrounding buildings. So I would speak in favor. I'm speaking in favor of the plans.
Thank you. Anyone else in favor or opposition of this project?
I'm just going to indicate that we did talk with the butters and neighbors, the ones that we could contact, and several contacted us in support. This is Elissa Weitzman again, so I don't know what you want to do with these, but we have statements of support from our butters and neighbors signed and dated here.
Okay.
And we did have an opportunity to have them look at the plans.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, so we'll make those part of the record, but since we're just receiving them. Yeah, we'll take them. They're all in support, you said? Yeah. Okay. So we'll make these part of the record, but we're not gonna read them right now, just, because we're just reading, we're just getting them now. With that said, any other questions or concerns from the board, or would anybody like to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh.
You had a hand up.
Oh,
Wait.
I'm Pam Broder-Drew, and I live at 40 Sprague Street, one house away. And I am very much in favor of all of the improvements, citing what my husband did. I had a question, though, because in the drawings, it shows the car, and then you were talking something about it not being the right car. Like, is that a parking space? Are there regulations that?
so they're grandfathered, from what I understand,
Right.
the property had no parking, so they're grandfathered. They're not expanding the number of bedrooms or anything, so
Right.
they're not required to
But the
create
accessory
parking.
building is a garage.
It what?
The accessory building was a garage,
Correct.
right? So that's not the same thing as parking. I'm asking just for clarification.
I actually don't know the physical measurements of the garage, but could you put a car in there?
I mean, it was a
Yeah,
garage.
I mean, there's a legal definition of a space. It's like 8 feet by 20 feet. Is that right? This is the expert. I can look it up, but it's,
He knows it, though.
yes, he knows it. That's why I'm
9
looking
by
at him.
16?
Nelson, so there were none of this variance has anything to do with parking, whether or not they create a spot or not. Am I right?
Right, you guys are not addressing the parking situation. The only regulation that would come into play with this particular property would be our ordinance, which addresses paving. You're allowed to pave a certain percentage of your front yard, side yard, rear yard. So if they're not changing the paving of the property, then we would not regulate that. Whatever they have paved today, they can maintain. They're not adding a bedroom, so we're not going to require them to add new bedrooms. So as far as you're all concerned, the parking really is not.
Setbacks only.
It's
is what
not
we're
something you
looking
need
at.
to be concerned with. You're just looking at a setback issue.
Yep. Thank you. I believe we did have a motion on the,
I'll make another motion to approve. Second.
Motion to approve petition 24009, 46 Sprague Street was made by Froyo, second by King. Bilgan?
I'm going to vote no.
King?
Yes.
Froyo?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
Kramer?
yes.
Motion to approve has been granted 4-1. Thank you.
Thank you.
And, by the way, best I've ever seen.
Thank you. Well, we've done
It
it.
was so easy to read and follow. I just got it. I was thinking, I wish I could, why do they even need to come in? In my mind, like, we have everything. Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Okay, on the second petition, which I believe 2 of our members need to recuse themselves on, is that, so we have 2 members that were on the abutters list for this petition. Do you feel that you need to recuse yourselves, or are you direct neighbors?
4 houses away.
What's that?
4 houses away.
4 houses away?
5 houses.
4 houses and 5 houses away. Would you like us to use our alternates?
I don't think that's an issue in this case.
Okay.
I appreciate Mr. King's position. I've
seems
dealt with
insulted
Mr. King previously
some
several times, and he's always been a fair individual. If he does not feel he's biased by his position, I am comfortable with.
He asks more questions than the alternates do, though.
He does, all often very thought-provoking. Is there a second individual who you felt, they felt that
I'm
they...
also in a butter. I feel like I can judge this without any bias, but I'm happy to step away if you'd like me to.
I trust the board's position on this. Not that the alternates aren't excellent people.
She's a good neighbor.
Yeah.
We don't care if they're good people. We've gone over this.
I also apologize, I do not have the fanciest presentation
That's okay.
to present to you.
This was great, though.
For the record, Roberto DeMarco, here for the petitioner Henry Pinto.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I apologize.
I didn't read off the petition yet. Petition 24-010, Henry, I think that's my phone. Henry Bladimir Pinto, did I say that correctly? Seeking a variance under Code of the City of Malden as amended, Title 12.16.060, Table of Intensity Regulations, specifically lot area, frontage, side yard setback, and parking as per plans, RES 061717-2023, at the property known as and numbered 87 Upham Street, Malden, Mass., also known by City Assessor's Parcel ID 098-425-505. Okay, now you can introduce yourself.
Roberto DeMarco here on behalf of the petitioner, Henry Pinto. I am living at 17 Division Street in Malden. I maintain a business office at 350 Main Street in Malden. Mr. Pinto is here to ask for variances to allow him to build a single-family home for his family. Mr. Pinto has been a resident of Malden for the better part of 24 years. He is a business owner in the city. He has been renting, and he found a place to build a home. He bought this property for the sum of $300,000 when the prior individual illegally started to demo it. And he was stopped. We went to the Historic Commission in order to get permission because that individual sold it. He couldn't get out of the way of what he had done, and we got permission to continue with the demolition. The property, when we took it over, was not salvageable financially or structurally, in our opinion. And therefore, as a single-family house, it was no longer a viable place for him to restore in a way that would be up to code and get it to code financially. So we moved forward with the demolition. He is now, after quite a bit of work with his architect, a review of the neighborhood buildings, a review of what he is presented with as what would fit with the neighborhood, he has come forward with the plan to put in the current house that's on the plans that have been presented to you. The side setbacks will be infringed upon along the left side, staring at it from the street, by a staircase into the basement. Into the basement, or down that staircase on the side. Yes. And then on the right side, he will maintain the same driveway that has been part of the property for decades. The issue that he faces then is that the property previously, as a single family, was already undersized. It was pre-existing non-conforming use. It has a frontage that is too thin, and it has a size of a lot that is too small under current zoning. The least impactful use in an RA zone is that it be a single family house. So to use the property, he needs to put back a house on the property, a single family, for him and his family. He has 3 children, and he and his wife. Now we run into a problem. The problem is that parking on this property is extremely difficult, made more difficult by the width of the property. He can't get to aisles of parking so that he has less than so that he does not have more than 2 cars in tandem going into the parking, the driveway. So he faces that as an issue. He's seeking relief from that ordinance on that issue because this is going to be a single-family house. There will not be people who are driving multiple cars except for him and his wife. He has underage children. Now, conceivably, they will grow up and they will have parking needs. We admit that. But with a single family, as with most of the properties in that area, which have all more than 2 bedrooms. This is the only 2-bedroom house in both directions on this street. The houses along the line to his left are a 5-bedroom, 2-family, which is the same size lot. And that is, if we do the calculation, that's 1,100 square feet approximately per bedroom of area. Then there's a 3-bedroom that's 6,300 square feet. Then there's another 3-bedroom for 6,000 approximately, another 3-bedroom, and another 3-bedroom at 7,200. Going to the right, there's a 4-bedroom, another 4-bedroom, a 5-bedroom, and a 3-bedroom. So fitting it into the character of the neighborhood, this would make sense. This is the right size house. This is the right type of use. You're not going to create an outlier among the different properties here. In terms of meeting the criteria, first and foremost, the size of the lot, I know, is not typically one that is adopted as an issue under your first criteria. However, in this case, I would argue that it does apply because he can't fit the parking as well as the setbacks into the area, as well as make use of the open space to the maximum amount possible. I would then also argue that in substantial hardship, he inherited a house that could not financially be rebuilt in a way that would bring it up to code. Financially, he needed to take it down and start over from scratch. He did not. He was not the person who perpetrated the original demolition. As far as without substantial detriment to the public good, this house has been an eyesore for many, many, many years. He's coming in, he's putting a house that will increase property values around him. It will fit in with the characteristics of the neighborhood. It meets with all the other properties in that area. And finally, as for substantially derogating the intent or purpose, the purpose of zoning is to make neighborhoods look like a cohesive unit. It is not the purpose to prevent people from making use of their property. If he can't put a single-family house on a single-family lot in a single-family neighborhood, what could he do? So I'm asking that the board consider these issues and vote favorably for the variances. They are the minimal amount of extension that he needs in order to put this house there. He is cutting way back. A bank will not finance him at 2 bedrooms. They don't find the value there because this property, after inputting the new energy code and the new construction levels and costs, would be too expensive to rebuild. I am open to questions from the board.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
I was just going to make a couple comments, but
I just had one question,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
and you answered it. Why did the house get torn down before a variance was issued? But you answered that, and I completely understand it now. Go ahead.
it almost appears you could do 3 cars tandem if you really had to.
And we could do 3 cars tandem. It would extend, one of the issues is that when you extend that driveway, you get into a whole different set of rules in terms of the coverage, the impervious coverage.
Yeah.
So he'd like to keep as much grass as possible. We have examined putting in the planter bricks so that he can fit in more and as time goes by, but that's not something he's going to do at this point because he doesn't need the parking.
And the other question or comment is about the second stair to the basement that's outside. Is that a bulkhead or structure over it? I'm not sure.
It's, I don't have the physical design of that, but it's to allow easy access on that side without entering into the footprint.
Oh, sorry, it does say no bulkhead, guardrail, fall protection.
It's more like a well on that.
And can you clarify why that's needed as opposed to using the inside stair to the basement, which is shown on the plans?
It cuts into the structure, and it was just a less expensive way that his architect designed in order to do it. When we asked, he felt that it was an option that Mr. Pinto would like to pursue, but we understand if the board would like to keep the setback even on that side, and that's something that we're prepared to work with the city on.
I know we're talking about this as a 3-bedroom. We've got a 3rd floor with, that's gonna be finished, and there's a full bath up there.
Yeah, he's got children who he imagines are going to be having friends, and kids don't like hanging out with their parents anymore. So he's setting up a playroom, kind of a place for the friends to get together and leave the parents alone. That seems to be the curve of way things are going nowadays. It is not to be a bedroom. It doesn't have a closet. We're not setting it up that way.
Yeah, it's only half a story, so it probably
It's
doesn't have.
yeah, it's under the
height
code.
clearance.
He's keeping it to the half story.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think this is a pretty uniquely small lot. It was previously small with a small house on it, so I think what you're trying to do doesn't seem out of line and unreasonable based on the history of the site as well as the existing topography and street frontage. I applaud you for trying to keep the 10-foot side yard setbacks on both sides. That's very nice for that type of neighborhood where things are a little bit tight.
I don't want to interrupt, but I think I know where you're going. And I just want to ask if there's anybody in the room here to speak in favor or in opposition of this. Come on up. Just say your name and address and,
Jared Jones, 10 Henry Street. My property abuts the rear of the
Okay.
property, and it's been several years now, and I 100% approve of it because the abandonment issue with rodents and so on and so forth, and I personally called for squatters prior to the home being torn down, so I 100% support the move forward with the build for Henry.
thank you.
Thank you. So no,
Any
no
other-
letters or anything?
What's that?
No letters
Nope.
in support or
Nope.
opposition?
Sorry, I kind of felt like you were going somewhere, and I
I-
just wanted to
I
get
wasn't
the
re-
public
yeah.
before you got there.
I'm curious what John thinks about the second basement stair within that side yard setback and
Oh, I see. I hadn't noticed that. This is the.
yeah, it looks like, because it shows up on the plan that you, comes down. So that's the other one.
So he does have an interior stairway down to the basement.
He does, interior.
So that's exterior access directly.
That's
to the
correct.
basement.
But I was thinking, the same stairs that is going upstairs, right behind it, there could be a stairs going into the
Yeah,
basement.
they have that in there, yeah.
They
Yeah.
have that already,
So they have that already,
Yeah.
but this is exterior
So he's
access
doing
from
the
the
second
outside to the
from the
basement.
outside exterior.
One of the discussions that did occur, because this probably doesn't have garage and he wouldn't want to take up room for a shed, he's going to be keeping yard and tool implements down in the basement, and taking them out through an exterior door was preferable to going through the house on that piece of it. So it does make it, we're trying to deal with, as been stated, with a small lot and make as many conveniences as possible. That was one, and I forgot as I was standing here, that particular discussion with the architect.
Like every day? doing that, moving the tools?
Not every day, obviously, but
Yeah, it's too bad
using
you
the
couldn't fit
basement as
them on
storage.
that, on the driveway side.
Well, the driveway side makes it more difficult
Yeah.
because the cars, et cetera, so.
Right. Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Would anybody like to second that motion?
I'll second it.
Motion to approve petition 24-010, 87 Upham Street, made by Froyo, second by Sherwin. Bilgan?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Sherwin?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Froyo?
Yes.
Kramer?
Yes.
All in favor. Petition 010 has been approved.
Thank you very much for your time. I hope we got you out of here early enough to enjoy your evenings.
Not quite as early, but we'll work on it.
My dinner's cold.
Take care.
You want to go home early? No.
Would somebody
John wanted to go home early, not me.
Motion to adjourn?
somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
You don't want to be here.
Second.
He's all we need.
Motion to adjourn, made by Froyo. At
Yes.
7:22, second by Bilgan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I'm not usually this rowdy, Aaron. This is unusual.